Okay, so in this eye, you can see very obvious a dark ring around the pupil. That's called a malabsorption ring. It means that you're not absorbing nutrients due to the mucoid plaque in the small intestines, blocking its absorption. Okay, you can see the orange, yellow you have color here. That's in all over your bowels. That's candida and sulfur. Okay, heavy sulfur candida moving to the orange side. So we need to detox that, especially in the brain. All here is the brain section here, and it's full of sulfur and candida. Okay, we need to clean that out. How we do that? We clean the bowels. And we use herbs called Neurological 1 to address this, try and clear this area up as well. Around the iris is a dark ring, that's the skin ring. And if you look closely, there's also a purple hue, a ring around the iris, that's the cholesterol ring. There's also a purple hue in the actual pupil, that's cholesterol as well. Now, when you have high cholesterol, it indicates that the body is taking cholesterol to bind to acids to protect you. Okay, so it's a sign of acidosis. We need to clear it up. If you look up the sclera, the red blood vessels here, also a sign of acidosis. So your body is to the acidic side. And when we go on a 100% fruit diet and use the herbs, we will switch this around and move it to the alkaline side. Okay, so the bowels are the most pressing thing here. All this here, this section here, you see there's a slight yellow line going around the bowels. That's called autonomic nerve wreath. Indicates that your digestive system is weak as far as the nervous system is concerned. So we need to address that. Right here is the ascending colon or small intestines. Right here is the transverse colon, it's chronic, and here's the descending colon. You can see it's all ballooned out. So you have enlarged bowels. Okay, we need to clean that out. We do that with the bowel cleanser. We use that with the bowel herbs. We call it bowel strength tincture. Okay, this helps address the bowels and strengthen it. When you see weak bowels like this or enlarged bowels, usually due to a weak parathyroid as well. And I'll explain that more as we go along. If you look closely, you have fine lines leaching out of the pupil. This is called radii solaris. It indicates toxic tunnels of waste leaching out to other body parts and glands, but especially in the brain section. The very top part of here is the hair and scalp region, and it's full of congestion as well, so it's potential hair issues arising. Okay, we need to address that as well. If we look closely, you see those bead-like things over here, bead going around the eye. That's the lymphatic rosary. It indicates that your lymph nodes are swollen or stagnant. Okay, we need to address that. We do that by using lymphatic 1 tincture and also by getting the kidneys to filter. Because if the kidneys don't filter, the lymphatic waste can't leave the body. So if you look at your eye, it's full of white, orange, and yellow. This is lymph. So the kidneys fill out the lymph system. The lymph system is what removes waste from your 100 trillion cells. And it's a fat-based, lipid-based system. And what it does is dissolves or holds the toxins, which are acidic. And it brings to the kidneys where it's eliminated. So if the lymph system is backing up, these acids have nowhere to go. It's affecting organ tissue and glands. Then you have health issues. Okay, so our goal is to get the kidneys to filter and the adrenals to work better, and to move the lymph system to clear up all this acidosis. Right here is where the pituitary gland is located. You can see it's moving to the chronic side, subacute, yellow. Okay, and right here is with the pineal gland, also subacute, moving to the chronic side. The pituitary gland is the master endocrine gland. It controls all the other endocrine glands. So it's essential that we put it in good working order. We can use a tincture with the herbs for the pituitary gland, and we can also use the same tincture called endocrine tincture to address the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. Pineal gland is what controls sleep, okay, and other hormone regulations. So we need them in good working order. Right here is the forehead, the eye, upper jaws, nose, tongue, and mouth region, all heavy with lymph stagnation. We call this the sinuses. The sinuses here are congested with lymph. We can remove it by using a neti pot of eucalyptus oil, doing ear candling, use a hot and cold compression in the back of the head, chew horseradish root to help break the mucus and to relieve congestion. So this has to be addressed. We also use a neurological tincture for the brain and to also address this as well. So it's a good idea to use both the neurological tincture and the circulation tincture as well. Right here is where the thyroid is located. You can see how dark it is. Okay, a chronic thyroid or thyroid that's weak will lead to a skin ring because you're not spreading as you should be. Your metabolism will be not as efficient as it should be either. So we need to address the thyroid. Use the thyroid tincture. Right here beside the thyroid is the parathyroid gland, and above it is the tonsils. Okay, the parathyroid is what's responsible for tissue integrity or calcium utilization. So when you have enlarged bowels like this, it's due to a weak parathyroid. You also have skin issues or bone issues, parathyroid. On top of the tonsils are the main lymph nodes of the head. So if your tonsils are congested, you have issues with your sinuses and your head region as well, the endocrine glands. So we need to address this by using the circulation tincture and the neurological tincture 1. Right here are the vocal cords, okay, the esophagus and the scapular region. You can see heavy lymph stagnation. It's actually, the lymph nodes here are not as efficient as they should be. It's getting stagnant. So we need to address that. You can use a respiratory T or a respiratory 1 tincture to address this section. So right here is where the upper back is located, the middle back and the lower back is located. And beside it right here is the bladder. Okay, all heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. The spine runs right here. Also congested with lymph as well. So we need to detox this. Circulation tincture, 100% fruit diet, getting kidneys to filter will address this section as well. You have lymph nodes getting swollen in this section as well, so I would address this quickly. This section right here is where the prostate and penis is located, okay? You can see this lymph stagnation or congestion there. I would use the prostate formula, or we call it glands P, to address this section. Right here is where the kidneys and adrenals are located. You can see it's moving to the dark side. Now, when you have weak adrenals, you're going to have the autonomic nerve root around the bowels, which I just showed you, you do have. You're going to also have nerve rings. If you look closely, going around the actual rings, those are called nerve rings, indicates weak adrenals. So we need to address that. Kidneys and adrenals are connected. Okay, so when the adrenals are weak, kidneys are weak. When the kidneys are weak, the adrenals get affected with mucus, so both function will be affected. So use adrenal tincture, use adrenal and kidney tincture as well. Perhaps you need to take adrenal glandula as well to address this, because these are the kings of health, kidneys and adrenals. So you should be taking adrenal tincture and kidney tincture as well as the kidney tea. Right here is the right foot, knee, and thigh region. You can see it's moved to the chronic side. You need to fix that. Okay, use the lower circulation herbs. We call it circulation down tincture. This is where the groin, urethra, and the pelvis is located. All heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. Okay, and right beside it, right here, is where the testes and ovaries will be located, and the pancreas right here. And beside it, right here is the gallbladder, and here's the liver. Okay, heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. So for the lower body parts, I would use the circulation down. For the testes section, I would use the prostate formula. So for the liver and gallbladder, you want to use the liver and pancreas tincture. Okay, that helps both the liver, gallbladder, and the pancreas, as I mentioned. Okay, so address that. Also want to be on 100% fruit diet with this. So right here is where the arm is located. Okay, also heavy lymph stagnation. So we have this section here is the thorax, ribs, and chest region, all heavy lymph stagnation, congestion. The breast is located right here. You can see it's covered with a dark color. That's lymph stagnation. Use the circulation tinctures will help you address this as well. Right here is the lower and upper lung region. You can see how heavy it is. See how dark it is? That's lymph stagnation as well. Use the respiratory T and the respiratory 1 tincture to address this section, the stagnation here. Right here is where the shoulder, neck, and ear region is located, and beside it is the medulla, mastoid, and cerebellum. Now, the medulla and mastoid are responsible for balancing dizziness and equilibrium. So when they are affected, you will have these issues arising soon. Okay, the cerebellum is the main communicator between the brain and the rest of the body. We need a good record order. If you use this neurological tincture and the circulation tincture, it will address this with 100% fruit diet. So in this eye, the brain section here is really congested. So I'll use neurological tincture. Always address this, okay? Because we accelerate hitting it. Toxic stanols are waste leaching out to the brain. You want to clean that because remember that the head section contains the endocrine glands, okay? The muscle medulla, the pineal, the pituitary gland. You don't want that to be affected with mucus, so we want to clean that out, okay? And the bowels and next person, so use the bowel cleanser, use the bowel strength tincture. The kidney, adrenals, we can't get the lymph system moving. Go on a 20-day dark grip only diet to start the process, to clean things up, okay? Apart from that though, you do have good genes, so it should clear up. This is a true blue eye, quite a bit of sulfur, so for the sulfur, use parasite tinctures like the antimicrobial and the parasite W for worms. Okay, you gotta get rid of the parasite and the sulfur. Sulfur will come out when the lymph moves and when you clean the bowels as well. It will take a bit of time because this is deep and dark. Okay, your eye has a lot of stagnation. Take a bit of time, so enjoy the process. Go a raw vegan. Use for the beginning, go a big stretch of 100% fruits, and after that you can go raw vegan and use the herbs until you get better and improve all this.